Hello, Junior 5. This is Miss Yasmin, and today I'm telling you a story about the Little Red Riding Hood. I hope you enjoy the story and take notes about the past progressive versus the past simple tense. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the forest. Whenever she went out, the little girl wore a red riding cloak. So everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. Her mother was packing a nice basket for Little Red Riding Hood to take to her grandmother. When the basket was ready, the little girl was putting on her red cloak. Then she kissed her mother goodbye and promised that she will go fast as possible. The Little Red Riding Hood noticed some lovely flowers in the woods. She forgot her promise to her mother. Little Red Riding Hood was enjoying the warm summer day so much. While she was picking some roses, a dark shadow approached out of the forest behind her. While she was standing up, the wolf appeared beside her. "What are you doing out here, little girl?" the wolf asked in a voice as friendly as he could muster. Unfortunately, the little girl told him everything, even her grandmother's address. When she realized how late she was, the wolf was running to her grandmother's house. The wolf, a little out of breath from running, arrived at her grandmother's and knocked lightly at the door while she was reading her favorite novel. "Oh, thank goodness, dear. Come in, come in. I was worried sick that something had happened to you in the forest," said Grandma, thinking that the knock was her granddaughter. The wolf let himself in. Poor Granny didn't have time to say another word before the wolf gobbled her up. While he was poking through Granny's wardrobe to find a nightgown to wear, the little girl knocked the door. The wolf jumped into bed and pulled the covers over his nose. "Who is it?" he called in a crackly voice. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood." When Little Red Riding Hood entered the little cottage, she could secretly recognize her grandmother. "Grandmother, your voice sounds so old. Is something the matter? What big ears you have! What big teeth you have!" "The better to eat you with, my dear," roared the wolf, and he leaped out of the bed and began to chase the little girl. Almost too late, Little Red Riding Hood realized that the person in the bed wasn't her grandmother, but a hungry wolf. She ran across the room shouting, "Help! Wolf!" and through the door while he was chasing her. A woodsman who was chopping logs nearby heard her cry and ran towards the cottage as fast as he could. He grabbed the wolf and made him spit out the poor grandmother, who was a bit frazzled by the whole experience, but still in one piece. Grandma, I was scared, sobbed the little girl, Red Riding Hood. I'll never speak to strangers or do in the forest again. There, child, you have learned an important lesson. Thank goodness you shouted loud enough for this kind woodsman to hear you. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother had a nice lunch and a long chat. Past progressive, usage and form. Past continuous tense or progressive tense. Usage, we use it at a certain moment in the past. Someone was in the middle of doing something, like I was sleeping at 3 a.m., or two or more actions were happening at the same time in the past, like I was eating and he was watching TV. We use the past continuous or progressive tense for an action which was interrupted. You use like Jane was waiting for the bus when I met her. We use the past simple for the short action that interrupted the longer one. So Junior 5, as you can see, the past continuous tense is the long action, and the past simple is the short action that interrupted the longer one. The past simple tense is used when action happen one after another, like I woke up, I got up, okay? The past continuous form is very simple. As you can see, we have three forms, okay, in any tense: affirmative, negative, interrogative. About the affirmative, subject plus was or were, and was or were are verb to be, uh, past form, plus verb plus ing, like she was kicking all the morning. And the negative form, we add not to the verb to be, like she was not sleeping when he came home. And we can use the construction form of was not and were not, wasn't and weren't. And the interrogative form of the question, was or were, plus the subject plus the verb ing. And of course the answer will be with yes or no. For example, was she sleeping when he came home? Yes, she was, or no, she wasn't. And we have time expressions like when and while. Time expressions with the past continuous tense or the progressive. While and when, we use them to link two sentences together. One of them in the past progressive and it's the long action, and the other is in the past simple tense and it's shorter than the other. Like while the band was playing, a mobile phone rang. While Jane was doing the washing up, I was doing the ironing. When I was walking home, when I met Dave. As you can see here, when and while in different positions, one in the middle and other at the beginning of the sentence. For example, when here in the middle, the past simple always came after when, and it's the second action, and before when the past continuous tense, and it's the first action and the longer one. Here, when in the beginning of the sentence, after when comes past simple always, okay? Then the past continuous tense. About while, in the middle, after while comes past continuous or progressive, and the second action, past simple, okay? While in the beginning of the sentence, always the comes past continuous after the while, then the past simple tense. Past progressive versus past simple. Like, I was watching television when she rang me. As I told before, I was watching television. This is the first action, and it's the longest one, okay? And the other action, she rang me, in the past simple tense, and it's the second one, and shorter than the first action, and it interrupted the first action. Like, I was watching television when she rang me, so when the telephone rang, I stopped watching the television to answer it, okay? So two actions, one of them interrupted the other, okay? My sister cut her finger while she was chopping some onions, okay? The past simple tense here, this time, and it's the second action, and interrupted the first action while she was chopping some onions, okay? As you can see here, I was eating dinner when she called me last night. Consider the first action here. From 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. I was eating dinner. And the second action, he called me at 7:15 p.m. This is the second action. This action interrupted the longer one, was eating dinner, okay? When he called me last night, I was eating dinner. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoy it.